nerds and virgins, graphite lovers, synthetic or natural. So if you didn't know, natural graphite goes into the lithium-ion battery. There's plenty of it to go around now, but come 2025, 2026, they believe there's going to be a shortfall, meaning the price of graphite should go up, like what happened to lithium. And the company you bought, if it's a good company that can build a mine for cheap and make a lot of money, so spend a little bit of money making the mine and then make a lot of tons, is the aim. So you find that company. The reason why they can spend a little amount and make a lot is probably because the location, they're near a capital city, near existing things, so they don't have to spend 20 million on a power line because it's already there. They don't have to spend money on a workforce because it's close. You get the idea. So companies always go to this one for the prime example. These guys did a 20x because they had a decent mine near Darwin, only had to spend under $100 million to do 400,000 tons of lithium spodumene per year, make an average 2,000 per ton, or as high as 5,000 to 8,000 on the spot market at times. So that's why they've done a 20x. And companies like GL1, well, CXO's in production. GL1, they needed a 4x because they have to spend 400 million to the same amount of tons CXO did. So that's why CXO did 20x. So you want to find someone who can spend a little bit of money, do a lot of tons, make a lot of money. That's the aim of the game. And the other thing is also buying before the shortfall. So no one cared about lithium here. Plenty of lithium go around. They could get out of the ground for 500, sell it for maybe 800, just make a bit of money. Fast forward, shortfall, get out of the ground for 500, sell for $8,000. That's why it went crazy like this. So graphite could be the next lithium. Might not go as crazy lithium. Graphite grades are higher. But yeah, there could be some sort of lithium effect happening in graphite. Give me your thoughts below. I think it's going to happen. I'm betting on it to happen. So we'll compare these two companies. Take in mind, these companies aren't actually selling to the battery anode market. They're selling to the other use cases for graphite. Nevertheless, I like this company, WKT. I'm going to compare them against TON, Triton Minerals. So WKT. So WKT, I believe, is a clear winner. I'm just going to put that out there now. And if I don't give you the numbers, go look at it yourself because I sort of know the numbers in my head. These guys can make this much EBITDA, and to build the mine, I think only costs 60 million. They're building the mine. They've got 4 months left to build it. They somehow built the mine, raising the money as they went, so it's going to cost them about 60 million. It's pretty much paid for now. If they need money, there's companies throwing the money at them. So they'll make this much per year in EBITDA, and I think after tax, they get like 25 million. That's for a company that you can buy for 65 million, and the other day it was probably even less. It was probably like 55 million. If you wait till it dips right down, might not happen again. It might go up, might go down, who knows. But a company you can buy for 65 million, imagine they do what they say and make $25 million after cash and costs. 25 million, you'd probably easily pay 150 million for that, meaning it's going to be a double, if not more. And guess what? If they can do the 40,000 tons and make that much money, they say they're going to do that, but I believe they'll probably fall short. But if they make at least, say they make at least 10 to 15 million, that's going to be pretty good buying at this current price. We'll see what happens. They're about 4 months off building the mine. Then have to iron out the kinks. So here you go here, building the mine. We'll start at the top again for these guys. And then you'll just see they're way better than TON, or the numbers to me are way better than TON's numbers. 2-year payback period. And this is before the graphite shortfall. So if there's a graphite shortfall and some reason the graphite price goes up, they could even pay that back short. That's what CXO, they probably had in their study, 4-year payback period. They could probably pay it back in 6 months after the lithium shortfall. So anyway, back to this. These are huge numbers from this thing. So they spend about 60 million to do 64 million Australian, where this project here, they're spending 100 million and they're going to get 43 million US. So WKT spends less and makes more, according to what they say. They actually have higher grade. They've got an 18% grade. TON's got a 6% grade, although they have 24 million ton mine life, where these guys have less of a mine life, but also they can do more drilling and expand that as well. So they got plenty more mine life if they do the drilling. Right now, they're not going to waste money on drilling. And that goes for all the Graphite players. All the Graphite players have drilled a certain amount. They don't want to raise money and drill. That's just going to dilute them right now. So they only drill what they have to. So these guys can drill more. TON can drill more. But WKT still a clear winner in my opinion. So going down, 30% rising prices last 12 months. Well, that could be 100% rises. Who knows what's going to happen? We're going to have to wait and see. If it happens in 2025, 26, I'm going to be a rich man. And I'm going to be saying I told you so, even though I didn't really know. So, I actually bought in when they did this raising. They went from WKT. Sorry, I'll go back to here. Where are we? Yeah, they raised money here to build the mine. And that was a good time that I saw. Wow, the numbers look really good. And I think they are still really good numbers. So going back to it, where are we? Keep going down here. Bear with me. Just let me know your thoughts on WKT. Are they going to fail? Are they going to go well? So low overhead costs, low capex, high grade, large flake. So large flake sells for more if you didn't know. At the current time, the actual small to medium flake goes into the battery, but they can grind out this large flake, but they'd rather just sell it into the other cases for graphite. Simple from surface, low operating costs, high grade mining, 18%. That is really good for 24 years. That's really good. If you compare to the competitors, which I have, I know that's really good. Processing, yeah, they say it's going to be like this, but take in mind, everything they say here could be totally wrong. You have to wait and see what happens. Continue on. They're actually building the mine. All these other companies that you invest in now, natural graphite, you're going to have to wait a year or two maybe to see some real offtake with the graphite shortfall. These guys, if they make what they say they're going to make or even close to it, the share price is going to take off in about 3 to 4 months. I think they complete this in about 4 months, and then they'll have to iron out the kinks in processing. And I'm no expert on that either. Good thing they got grid power. This company, SYR, doing a lot of tons of graphite, not making much money on it due to diesel costs, due to processing failures, etc. Take in mind WKT, they're on the grid power, but the grid power is actually natural gas, I think, for the most part. But solar is getting cheaper, so they could, like, they know what to do. If the solar plant's going to make money, they're going to do that. So anyway, back to here. I better close one down so I'm not repeating myself. 65% all equipment on site, 77% of costs already being incurred, mobile equipment. So it's getting built. These people sending them the stuff are actually like, oh, you didn't have to pay us now, we'll send you the stuff and give some money when you make it. So they're they're in on it too. And then they sell it to this guy. Well, this is like the real estate agent, Wogan, which I think of as just this guy, but it's probably a company. So Wogan, I think, gives them some money up front, then Wogan sells it, gets some more money. He like takes commission. He's like the sales agent, takes commission. Is the way I see it. Keep going down. So this is them here. They got another mine up here. And we go into the tons. There's more tons around if they drill. Is this so? The resource to reserve. So if you don't know what a resource is what's in the ground. A reserve is an economical thing in the ground. So you might have a lot of resource, but it's scattered everywhere. But a reserve is a thing that's economically mineable. So that's one thing to really know. Resource is just what's in the ground. Reserve is like, is it economically mineable? Near drilling, so they can add this many tons at about 18%, times at about 18% to get the actual graphite in the ground. And then drilling, 20 kilometer radius, there's more there. So the heaps of graphite around, as I said. So TON is saying they got more, and they'll have even more again. But WKT's got more as well, and they got this one is here as well. And guess what? If they're making money early, they can invest into other graphite players using their knowledge and skills. Taking in mind 4 months, they could be making money. Time will tell what happens, and it could be lesson learned. So, good road network. It could be a dirt road, who knows. 200 kilometers from ports. Pretty standard. Like, no one's right next to port. Grid power. Spinning available. Gas field. I think the grid power's all gas here anyway. Continuing on. Reserves. Resource. So the resource is 41. That's what's in the ground. The reserve, 5.5. That's what's economically mineable. If you take one thing from this video, if you didn't know that already. So key takeaways, this is what they say they're going to make. Will they make that? Not sure. Can graphite double or triple in price, meaning what they say here is going to be double and triple, meaning they'll be doubly, triply as good. Don't know. Graphite's not as rare as lithium, but the demand is going to be huge. But could the lithium bottleneck slow down the graphite bottleneck? Who knows? Also depends on BYD, Tesla getting those cheap cars, which Tesla's building that factory in Mexico. So if they make that car, everyone's going to rush out to buy that as the next new car. It takes them I think normally takes Tesla like a year to build these factories. In China, I think they built one in a year, even though they had like some crazy typhoons and stuff like that. So hopefully this gets built quick. Although this is the next generation thing, there might be more kinks to iron out. We'll see what happens. Anyway, if they don't get it right this in a year, it could take a year and a half. They'll eventually get it right. Electric cars will be cheaper. And the thing left will be the graphite, because the best battery will be the LMFP, lithium manganese iron phosphate, which is basically, LFP is a cheap battery, but they're adding manganese, so it's a cheap battery now. It's going to go a lot of kilometers, very energy dense. And that's it. And yeah, the limiting factor could be the graphites. And just repeating myself now, so going to some other graphite companies I like. These guys going into the battery mineral space. 26 million or thereabout to buy them. Their neighbor's actually 500 million to buy, because the neighbor has got a loan from the government for 100 million. Done more drilling, done more study. But these guys could follow in the footsteps. What's the difference between these guys and Renescore things? Like I just said, the $100 million grant, more drilling, more economical studies. So these guys, the money's made when you buy before these big announcements, like studies like that. That's ITM. And ITM has a huge resource, bigger, just as big as RNU's resource. And they're in South Australia, which is all on renewable energy, etc., etc. Another one, IG6. These guys in West Australia, the resource isn't as big, but they've been hitting good results. The government seems to like to help these guys out. They're doing their own downstream in-house thing as well. They weren't my preferred, but they've been hitting some decent drill results, and won't have a huge resource, but they'll probably have enough to be good. So looking to them more. What else? BRC ASX. These guys actually have a working mine in Ukraine. It's doing sweet oil tons. It's doing like 80 tons a day or something stupidly small. Due to the war, they can't just pump it up. They do have a massive thing in Africa, which they spend 200 million and they make $200 million in EBITDA per year at the current prices. If graphite shoots up, there could be more. They don't even have to get into production. If graphite shoots up, people are like, oh, these guys are good. They could get into production. Looks like they're gonna. It could go like this, and then you sell out and don't get into production. Who knows? So that's another one I like. There's heaps more. Fin Feed Lac Rainy Nord. This one shows me a few of the players. Just go through them quickly. Trident Minerals. That's that one there. Trident Minerals also had this massive one here. Look how big that is. 1,487 million tons at 10% grade. They're actually trying to get this lease back on that. Not sure how successful they're going to be. Anyway. So that's the grade. Grade is important, but not super important. Well, I guess it is pretty important, but around, you want higher than average. You want 10% or more. And you want quite a bit contained. Pretty big resource. But the most important thing on this is the capex. So, say you had this one here, 12 million tons at 25%. If this was out the middle of nowhere, you had to spend $1 billion to build it, like Mason Graphite is. They got huge tons, but it's sort of $1 billion to build it, but they get that back in 2 years or something. But a huge capex, which means you're going to get diluted hard on this one. So you want close to existing things. You want everything. You can afford to be picky here, so you want the best of the best. Here's Renascore, but they've already taken off. They're 500 million to buy. So you want to buy the next Renascore, which could be ITM. It's my biased opinion because I own them, but I do believe in it as well. Walkabout Resources, pretty good. Well, they actually have 18% grade, so this is actually an old thing as well. But anyway, here's a few players to look at. I like to buy companies under 50 million, probably $30 million, that are going to become the next $500 million companies, because you buy them before the actual announcements come out that make you the money. If you didn't know, that's how you make money. Easier said than done. Okay, that's it for me. Like and subscribe. See you in the next video. WKT. All these ones are going to have to wait till 2025, 2026, probably till the Graphite shortfall, to really take off and get the mine built, etc. But WKT is building the mine now. I've said this probably 20 times in this video. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.